Hello, welcome back. Welcome to Spiritual Training. My name is Sifu Perhacs, and I'm going to take you through this session. But just to let you know that the way I've set up this training is I've put it together in little mini videos that you can watch at your leisure on a specific topic and get all that information. I think you'll find that quite interesting. Now, here's the thing, is spiritual training is a very unique concept. And it's such a unique concept that everyone talks about it, mind, body, spirit. I mean, who hasn't heard that a million times? It's such a cliche. It's just anyone that's in this type of training, that's what they talk about. But when it comes to spiritual training, when it comes to that spirit, it's a little lacking. People always talk about enlightenment. What is enlightenment? And there's probably enlightenment, it means different things to different people. And so what I'm going to do is talk to you about how we view it. And we view it like this, very simply. And that is that spiritual training is you being able to re-recognize and be reintroduced to your spirit. Because let's face it, most people don't really know their spirit. They may say they do, but they don't. And so I'm going to show you specific exercises that you can do in order to do that. Now, obviously, inside the Total System 2.0, we've got a myriad of exercises that you can use because the spiritual and the psychic, they're kind of intertwined. If you're psychic, you're somewhat spiritual. And spiritual can mean anything from recognizing the spirit, being able to pull your spirit out of your body, being able to recognize other spirits. So, when you see a shadow move across the room, that could be some type of entity that is there. Now, this brings up the question, it may go against what you currently believe. I've talked to many, many different Qigong instructors that when I've talked about shadows and different things like that, that's your imagination. Well, that's because they really haven't delved into that spiritual world, let's say. And again, I come from a Christian background, so this is really like the furthest from what I was taught as I was growing up. But I know one thing, is that all the things that I've learned over the years does nothing but make me understand even more my convictions with my spiritual walk with God. And again, I don't want to get religious with you, but you're of a certain religious persuasion, or maybe you're not, but this type of training is going to allow you to awaken that concept inside your body so you'll know that you're a spiritual being. And that's the real key here. Now, how do you get into the spiritual training? The spiritual training is a combination. It's physical plus mental equals spiritual. That's really the formula right there. Now, let me explain a little bit about that before I get into some of these mini videos that I'm going to shoot for you. And that is this. You take that physical concept, and I've taught you exercise, I taught you blood washing, standing meditation, Qi infusion techniques. Those are physical exercises that over time, they will build up energy. Even though those aren't the most advanced exercises, we teach obviously a lot more advanced exercises in the Total System 2.0. The fact is, over time, you will build up a tremendous amount of Qi with those exercises. So you take that Qi buildup, you combine it with mental exercises where you're actually allowing your mind to expand. You're opening your mind more to more possibilities. And so by doing so, you're able, by utilizing your mind, you're able to relax the body so that you can then do some of these spiritual techniques. Now, when I go into some of these techniques, you got to keep in mind that the body, your body, which houses your spirit, is like a control freak. Your body is a control freak. It does not want to release the spirit. However, it does all the time. And you may not remember it, but it does. And I'm going to go into that in the training as well, as we get into some of these videos. So, with that being said, I just want you to understand that it's physical training plus mental training is going to equal a spiritual outcome or more spiritual training. And obviously, spiritual training is a combination of that physical and mental that's going to allow you to get some of those milestones that maybe you've been after your entire life. And I'll be happy to say that a lot of individuals that have gone through this system have been able to realize that. It's very exciting stuff. It borders on the weird. It's really esoteric. But in the same sense that I say that it's weird and esoteric, it's natural. Because you've been doing it your entire life. You may not have recognized it every time, but the fact of the matter is, you've been out of your body. Everyone has. It now takes time to recognize it. In fact, some of the meditations I've taught people over the years, they've said to me, when I first started the training, I did not recognize that I had out-of-body experiences until I started doing the training, and those recognitions came back to me that when I was a little kid, I would be walking around the house, and yet my body was still asleep. I've had so many stories like that. In fact, a very good friend of mine, we were just chatting one day, and he didn't really know I was into this kind of stuff, and I didn't know that he was having these type of occurrences. But he was telling me about how about one time he got up to go to the bathroom. He walked into the bathroom. He went to the window. He was living in New York City at the time. Looked out the window, and when he looked back, he could see his wife sleeping on the bed, and he could see himself sleeping right next to her. And this is a guy that is not spiritual in any sense of the word, no doubt about it. This was many years ago. But I thought it was interesting that he mentioned that to me. More recently, I was with a business colleague, and she said the same thing. So, there's a lot of crazy things that go on that if you just open up the mind, these things start flooding back in. And I'm sure you've had those same types of recognitions. Well, I want to get started with this training. I'm sure you're going to like it. Matter of fact, I know you're going to love it. Obviously, when you get into Total System 2.0, I'm going to go into so much more detail. You're going to have all the tools you need in order to make this a reality. So let's get started.